Hello, and welcome to the Fireside Chat podcast, where we share perspectives to keep you uplifted and focused on what matters. The holidays can be a stressful time of year for you and your family, and these discussions are meant to inspire more creative approaches to the season. Tonight, Amy will give us her perspective on taking a time out before the festivities kick off. Join us for another Fireside Chat in episode 4. Enjoy the ambience. Amy, welcome back to the studio. You look very well rested. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the time out we touched on in last week's episode? Thank you, Sola. It's really good to be back. And yes, I'm feeling much more well rested. Thank you for mentioning it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say this is I'd say an 8. It's really important. And the reason that it's really important is, as I touched in last week on episode 3, after coming through what I'm calling the season squeeze, you're really kind of stressed out and over almost the holiday hype at that point. And so if you don't take the time out, it's really going to affect the festivities that you have planned for and spent money on. So it really is one of those things that it's well worth giving it a try. Give our listeners an idea of your favorite timeout activities. Okay, I have a lot of them, but just to name a few, you cannot go wrong with a manicure pedicure. I absolutely love that. It's very relaxing. I love to get a great massage. I like deep tissue. Some people don't prefer that. Going to maybe a park and going for a walk and just going someplace that's a little bit more quiet, that doesn't have a lot of traffic in it. I love, just to maybe color my hair at home and plan to put on some soft music in the bedroom. Run a bubble bath or with some Epsom salt, something really just kind of low key. So yeah, those are just a few of the things that I like to do to unwind. Right now I'm not walking because my back is out again, and I've been in adrenal failure for about a year, but I am recovering. But I really recommend that's a really good one during the holidays because you are eating extra calories. So if you can get out and just get some fresh air, if you don't like to walk, just go outside and get some fresh air. Sit out there maybe with a mimosa or something. So yeah, that's just a few of my favorite timeout activities. What can people on a tight budget do to get the same benefit? Doing everything at home, just do it yourself. You can give yourself, set time aside to do a manicure, pedicure like I recommended last week and this week. Get some Epsom salt. You can put that in your bath. Or you can get, if you don't have a bath, you can get a large, pot and put some in there and soak your feet in there. So that's something that you can do. Instead of going out to lunch, buy yourself some yummy things, maybe things that you don't normally eat, and pre-plan, prep the food the night before. You can buy yourself, just a moderate bottle of Prosecco and some orange juice and make yourself a little pitcher of mimosas and keep that in the refrigerator. So basically just everything that you would do outside of the home. The massage is obviously not something that you can do, without going somewhere. But everything else you can really kind of work around it and do at home. Why is ambience an essential element to holiday cheer? The reason I think it's essential is it sets a mood. The lighting, the soft lighting, the light from the Christmas trees, the candles, the decorations, all of that really does create a specific mood that, Christmas especially, just the cheerfulness of it, the smells. So you're really stimulating all 5 of your senses. It's like an art installation. I did that when I was in my senior year at art school, and creating something that an environment that you're sitting in that stimulates all of your senses at once. And it really is, you don't even need the television on. You can just kind of sit there, and it creates this almost like meditative state. So I think it is an essential part to the cheerfulness, because you're mixing up the stagnancy of your regular routine over the holidays. I think that's one of the biggest benefits. What are some things we can do to amplify the ambiance in our homes? Well, I love LED candles. So, burning the regular candles, you have to be in the room at all times just to monitor the flame. And then you go through them rather quickly. So I love to mix up regular candles that you know, light with a lighter, and then the LED candles. You know, when you couple those type the LED candles with any of your decorations throughout the house, whether it's on the mantle or your coffee table or in the kitchen, it really does. It just lights up the display. It lights up the decorations. You know, it reflects off of the bulbs. It just creates a really nice mood when you do this. I think another way to amplify the ambiance is to have music playing to keep your television off more than normal, and really enjoy the sound of the fireplace. You know, open up your door to your porch if you have one, and let in the natural sound. So adding that natural sound element, I'm not even necessarily saying music, but if you do have music on, let it be something a little bit more natural and in the background. There's also, if you're gonna have your television on, they have some wonderful, Netflix has them, where you just put the fireplace on and it crackles. So maybe throughout the holidays, when you aren't going to be watching something, I know a lot of us do this, where we put on just something we've watched a million times to work and to do things in the house, to have that sound going. Try and switch over to a fireplace, you know, crackling on screen. Sometimes they have them and it plays Christmas music with it. And just see how that enhances what you've already created in the house. So far, we've focused mostly on the external pieces that create this ambiance. What effect does it have on us internally? Yeah, you know, there's a science behind all of this. It's kind of like keeping things neat and organized, or feng shui, where you're setting up your house in certain directions to get the energy movement. This is the same concept where psychologically there's an effect that happens. This is another reason I recommend people don't mix a bunch of patterns and things in their photos, or in their decorating a bunch of different colors that clash, because that creates anxiety. It creates a dissonance within the body. And so when you choose a pleasing palette to the eye, when you choose patterns that all go together and they're not creating too much confusion, without you realizing, the psychological effect is calm. And especially this time of year, you don't want to do anything that's going to increase your anxiety and your stress levels. This actually decreases those. So just think about when you walk into a spa, the effect. There's usually a scent, there's a soft music playing, they have everything arranged in a certain way. The colors are usually, it's a very soothing palette, like in earth tones. And that's all done with intention. So during the holidays, if you can kind of keep that in mind when you're decorating, the ambiance that you are going to create is going to produce people, when they walk into the room, they're going to say how beautiful it looks, but what they may not be aware of is how beautiful it's making them feel. It's creating a harmonics within their body that they're not quite aware of. Give me your favorite practice in reference to setting a pleasant mood. Okay, this is a really simple one. I just like to light candles. I light the real ones. I make sure all the LED ones are on. It's a battery drain. I have the candles on whether there's company or not. So, because I like having this kind of ambiance at all times, not just during the holidays. So yeah, candles, just making sure, especially that the LEDs are always lit. Do you suggest sharing this time out with others, or should it be done alone? You know, that's a really good question. I am going to invite people to just give it a try alone. And the reason that I'm suggesting that is because, especially during the holidays, you're going to be crowded with the extra family outings, with your immediate family usually, especially if you have young kids. They're going to be out of school. Work is going to be extra hectic because everybody's pushing those deadlines. And then you might have family coming in, or you're going to visit family. So there's kind of, no matter how much fun you have, we're all so used to being in our own little pockets of the world, you know, especially when it comes to friends and family, that this time of year can overwhelm even the most extroverted people. And so this time out is about you decompressing and recharging. So yeah, definitely give it a try alone, and see how much you enjoy it. Some people have a difficult time going out to eat and doing other leisurely activities alone. What's your experience with this? Yeah, I'm actually always surprised to find this out. Not everyone is comfortable doing this. So I just really have always enjoyed, I can't remember a time in my life that I didn't enjoy it. I mean, even back when I was a teenager, going and doing things by myself. So it's really, I think, the biggest benefit, or, one of the best parts of this experience is finding out that you do enjoy your own company. And so you have to try it, though. You have to be willing to just say, I'm going out with myself. It really started actively happening back when I was, in my early 20s. I did it as a teenager, so I tapped into that when I read The Artist's Way. And she talked about doing this artist date, and you had to do it once a week, where you just took yourself. You couldn't bring anyone with you. And it gets you in the habit of going out on these little adventures with yourself and spending time with yourself. So I really do recommend people give this a try. What are some benefits that come with learning to enjoy your own company? I think the biggest benefit is this freedom. It creates a space within you to become your own best friend. And I know that sounds cliche, and a lot of people will maybe even cringe at that. But the point is that you are validating yourself. You are giving that time to yourself. You're saying that I am enough for myself, and I don't need to make plans and to coordinate, because that comes with its own level of stress, right? So you're kind of freeing yourself up from that. So there is a real freedom in learning to enjoy your own company. So when and if things come up, whether it's, the ballet or a specific movie that nobody else wants to see, there's just activities that you want to do that you can't get them to coordinate, no matter how many times you try, or it's too expensive, or they just don't want to do it. So you're giving yourself the freedom to experience all that life has to offer and all the things that you want to do without feeling tethered to other people. I've ruined some timeouts in the past by launching right back into my hectic schedule. What's your advice on this? My best advice on this is, the day after, I always take at least 2 days. Just set aside 2 days to just pamper yourself in the ways that you can. Taking naps, this isn't just about activities, it's about resting. My biggest piece of advice is the day after this is over you're gonna have your scheduled routine and the things that you need to get done, but make them the lightest of the things. Make them the lightest of the things. So you're it's like a workout. You're getting in, you're getting back into it, but you're doing it light. So doing a light workout after you've had a long time out of the gym or you've been on holiday is always preferred than to going in there and just throwing up a bunch of weight like you didn't just take however much time off. So look at it this way, because it can be very jarring to your system if you don't do this for yourself. And then it kind of unravels the entire point. We are gearing up for our adventure to the North Pole. I heard the fabric room is gorgeous. What are you planning to wear? I'm thinking we need to be as comfortable as possible for this. Oh, I am so excited about this trip. And nobody loves fashion more than me. I haven't really been into it since the pandemic hit. I've been in the yoga pants and the sweatshirts. But before that, I loved getting dressed up and going out dancing. So I'm really excited about the fabric room as well. I have this, it's like it's a red hoodie. I bought it months ago. It's an Amazon special, but it's red and it's really, really pretty. I want to say it's like almost a crochet. So I'm going to wear that, and I agree with you. I'm going to wear sneakers, or maybe I've got these white boots and a pair of jeans. So yeah, I'm going to do the casual, but kind of dress it up just a little bit. Remind parents what to do to prepare for our Christmas Eve broadcast from Claus Studios. So I would go ahead and prepare the kids for Christmas Eve dinner prior to going to watch the broadcast with them, once you've got them in bed. Reindeer food. I've got a little recipe. It's super easy. Just 1 cup of oats, like oatmeal. You can throw a couple raisins in there and some glitter. Put those in, you can put them just in a Ziploc bag and shake it up and let them scatter that on the lawn out front of your house. If you've got an apartment, they can do it right in front of the door. And then, go out there and swipe it aside with your foot, kind of like the Santa with the cookies thing. So I recommend having that for them. Also, I'm going to have a little podcast game that you can download on your phone. It's going to fit your phone for things to find within the YouTube graphic that I've made. So kind of like Where's Waldo? And there's just different specific things for them to locate, especially if you have little kids. So, you know, the teenagers or whoever, if there's older kids that you rope into, you know, let's watch the Santa tracker and then you're going to do this, they'll probably just sit there and listen. But if you have younger ones, they'll enjoy this visual game. So that's going to be downloadable. I've got a coloring book page for them. And yeah, so those things will be posted with the official invitation on Christmas Eve. I'm going to put those up. What's your closing message to our listeners about taking some time out for themselves prior to Christmas Eve? Yeah, my closing message is just really take this time out for yourself. If you don't have the extra funds, just plan it at home. You know, you can do some really small things like buying the Epsom salt and soaking your feet, buying, you know, if you like mimosas, having those in the refrigerator with a fruit tray. Just buying yourself some new magazines or a novel, and just plan to kind of hibernate and rest for 2 full days if you can. I know it's difficult to do this, but if you start doing this, I promise you every holiday at least you're going to do it. If not, I'm hoping you'll carry it out throughout the year so that you're starting to learn to take time out for yourself to recharge. I think it's really important. This concludes tonight's episode with an invitation to parents to join us at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve with the kids after our tour of Klaus Studios. This will be a fun wind-down activity as you prepare the kids for bed and a visit from Santa. You'll find downloadable goodies for this special activity posted on Facebook and Instagram, along with the official invitation. Please find those in the description box beneath this video.